Hi, everyone, and welcome to Stretch Break. My name is Amber Langford. Thanks for joining today. For those of you who are just hopping on for today's Stretch Break class, we are going to be using a chair. You can be using a stationary chair without any wheels like I am, or you can also be using an office chair. If you're able to lock those wheels, I would recommend doing so. We're going to be started sitting down in our chair today, and we're going to be remaining seated the whole time. So go ahead and have a seat. I do want you to sit a little bit more on the edge of your chair so your feet can be flat on the ground. We're going to begin with our feet and ankles first and kind of make our way up to our upper body and our neck. We're going to start with our right foot first, and all we're going to do is we're going to lift our heel up. So we're pressing the bottom of our toes down into the ground. I want us to get a little bit of an extension through those toes. So I want you to slide your foot back underneath that chair, pressing your ankle forward, pressing the bottom of your toes down into the ground. The farther back you slide your foot, the more toe extension you're going to have and the more of a stretch you're going to feel kind of in that bottom of your foot. With your hands, you can just press them down on your lap, and we're just going to hold this position for a few more deep breaths. Inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your mouth. Good. Keeping that heel elevated and that ankle pressing forward, we're going to roll those toes on that right foot. So now the tops of our toes are pressing down to the ground. That ankle is pressing forward, and we're now switching that stretch to the front of our ankle. Maybe you're even feeling a little bit of a stretch up into your shin. We're focusing on letting those shoulders relax, pulling them down away from our ears. One more breath here. And lowering that right foot down, switching sides, lifting that left heel up, sliding our toes back so we feel a nice stretch down the bottom of our foot, actively pressing the bottom of our toes into the ground and pressing those ankles forward, working on that toe extension. We're still inhaling through our nose and exhaling through our mouth. One more deep breath here. And rolling those toes over. So now the top of our left toes are pressing down to the ground. Ankle is still pressing forward, switching that stretch to the front of our ankle into our shin. Let's do 2 more deep breaths here. And relaxing out of that, lowering our heel down so both feet are flat. We're going to switch to our hips next. We're going to focus on some internal hip rotation. So I want you to take that right leg and we're going to swing our right leg out to the side. Our left leg is still pointing forward. We're still facing forward with our body, but we're going to have our right leg as open as we can into a little bit of a straddle. From here, we're going to drop that inside of our knee down towards the ground. And we're going to lightly put some pressure on the outside of that thigh. Getting a little bit of internal hip rotation here. One more deep breath. And exhale, lifting that leg back up so it's back in that straddle position. From here, we're going to reach our left arm up, and we're gonna reach over to the right. Our right hand slides down and reaches down for that ankle, down towards the ground. Opening up that left side body here. We're trying to make a nice C shape. One more deep breath. And exhale, sitting back up tall, lowering that arm down. We're going to swing our right leg back in, and we're going to switch sides. So now our left leg swings out into that straddled position, and we're going to drop that left knee down, bring it down towards the ground, rotating as far as we can, and then adding a little bit of light pressure on the outside of our thigh. Working on those hip rotators. Sitting up nice and tall. Let's do one more deep breath here. And exhale, lifting that knee back up to the straddled position. Adding our lat stretch. Reaching that right arm up tall. And then leaning over towards the left. Reaching that left hand down towards the ground or down towards our left ankle. Opening up that right side body. One more deep breath. Inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Sitting back upright and lowering our arm down. We're going to swing both legs back in, and we're going to transition next into a seated lunge position. For this seated lunge, we're going to start on that right leg. So if you do not have an armrest, I want you to scoot your body over so you're sitting on the right side of your chair. We only have that left hip on the chair. From here, you're going to slide that right leg back directly behind you. You're trying to slide it as far as you can backwards, trying to get that back leg all the way straight. If you do have an armrest, I want you to angle your body by bringing both knees over to the left, and then from there you're going to slide that right leg back, trying to get that knee straight. We're bracing our hands on that front thigh, sitting up nice and tall. You should feel a good stretch all the way through that hip flexor on your right side here. Let's do one more deep breath here. And if you're able to, I want you to take both hands and reach up tall to the ceiling, lifting that chin up a little bit as well, lengthening through that spine. If you need to keep that left hand down for balance, you can, and support yourself on that side. Otherwise, reaching tall. One more deep breath. And exhale, lowering those arms back down and bringing that right leg back in. We're going to switch sides and do that left side next. So I want you to either shift over and sit on the left side of your chair and then slide that leg back. Or if you have that armrest, angling both legs over to that right corner and then sliding your left leg back, trying to get it nice and straight behind you. Your hips are still facing forward, and we're starting with both hands braced on our thigh so we can keep that chest nice and upright. Let's do one more deep breath here. Holding this position, I want you to reach both arms up to the ceiling. If you're unable to get both arms up, just try reaching up with that left arm, lifting your chin up, extending through that spine, reaching to the ceiling. We're going to hold here for 3 more deep breaths. On that last exhale, you can lower those arms down to your sides and bring that right leg in. We're going to transition to our seated cat-cow next. For this seated cat-cow, I want you to scooch so you're on the edge of your seat, so your feet can be nice and flat on the ground. From there, you're going to lean your chest forward, embrace your palms right on top of those kneecaps, on your thighs. Starting with a nice flat back, we're going to begin by rounding, tucking our chin to our chest, tucking that tailbone under, trying to press it into that chair. Once we've rounded as far as we can, we're going to exhale, lifting that chin up, lifting that tailbone up off the chair, looking up to the ceiling and extending. And then return back to that rounded position. We're going to do 4 of these here. Moving from that rounded position back to that extended position. Taking nice deep breaths. Let's do one more here. Tucking that chin to your chest, tucking that tailbone into the chair, and then exhale, lifting that chin up to the ceiling, lifting that tailbone off the chair, and then relaxing out of that, flattening your back, and then slowly walking those hands back upright. We are going to stretch out those wrists next. So from your seated position, I want you to place both hands together in the center of your body. I want those fingers touching as well as your palms. From this position, keeping your hands as close to your body as possible, we're going to lower our hands down, bringing those elbows out wide. We're trying to lower our hands down that side of our body as far as we can, while still keeping our palms touching. The further we move down our body, the more wrist extension we are doing, and the harder it is to keep those palms touching. We're just going to hold this position for a few more deep breaths. Maintaining that connection throughout your whole hands. We're going to shift and bring both hands over towards that right shoulder, that right side of your body. Feeling a little bit more of a stretch in that right wrist. One more deep breath here. And then moving those hands from the center all the way over to that left side of your body, switching the stretch to that left wrist now. Last breath here. Returning those hands to center, and then slowly relaxing out of that. Feel free to give those wrists a few circles. We're going to end with just one neck circle in each direction. So I want you to bring your head over to the right. You're going to circle your chin to your chest, circling over to the left, up to the ceiling, back to that right shoulder. And then you're going to switch directions, circling your head back, over to the left shoulder, chin to chest, and ending on that right shoulder once again. From there, you're just going to lift your head upright, give yourself a good little wiggle, a good little shake, and that is all of the stretching I have for you all today. Thank you so much for joining. This was Stretch Break. My name's Amber. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and see you next time.